Tonight, I'm about to share a moment that changed everything. A moment of power, resilience, and unexpected revenge. It was a rainy night in Los Angeles. Snoop Dogg stepped out of his car, walking toward one of the most luxurious hotels in the city. He was there for an exclusive event, ready to enjoy the night. But what happened next, no one saw coming. Because in just a few moments, Snoop Dogg wouldn't just be a guest at this hotel, he would own it. And the reason why will leave you stunned. One night, it could have been just another ordinary night for Snoop Dogg. However, that evening, he would face one of the most significant tests of his life. He was invited to an event at one of the most luxurious hotels in Los Angeles. Everything should have gone as planned. He would sit in the VIP section backstage, enjoy music and entertainment throughout the night, and then rest in his room, drawing inspiration for new projects. But everything would change unexpectedly. It was a rainy evening when Snoop Dogg, dressed in a sleek black suit, made his way toward the club, finding himself in a completely different atmosphere. As he parked his car in the expansive parking lot in front of the hotel, he heard the sharp sound of raindrops hitting the windows. He was one of Hollywood's most recognizable figures, but tonight, he was more than just a man outside. He was a symbol. His years of success and respect earned in the music world had always been an advantage. But tonight, he wasn't just a famous rapper. He was there as the voice of marginalized and overlooked communities. As he entered the hotel, the dazzling chandeliers and silver lights reflecting off polished floors filled the space with a sense of luxury. Yet, the growing unease inside him began to transform into anger. Once a man who fought to survive in the streets, he didn't want anyone to make him feel like an outsider. However, tonight, he was about to face the very discrimination that so many others had experienced for generations. Snoop had arrived at the hotel to attend the event he was invited to, but the receptionist did not recognize him and began to treat him as any other guest. Snoop had encountered situations like this countless times before, but each time, it sparked a different feeling within him. The receptionist didn't see him as a star. Instead, he saw a stranger. In that moment, it wasn't just a personal affront. This was a stark reminder of the injustices faced by people from all walks of life. Receptionist: "You're late, I'm afraid, but there's no room left for you." Snoop Dogg, while maintaining a calm exterior, felt the frustration rising inside him. But in that moment, years of patience and strategy took over. He knew that he was not just a guest here, he was much more than that. He wasn't just a rapper or a celebrity. As a black man, he had always expected more. And tonight, he felt that the time had come for him to make a stand. But at the same time, he couldn't ignore how common such barriers were, how millions of people faced similar discrimination every day. This wasn't just his experience. It was a problem that spanned every level of society. Snoop Dogg: "I made a reservation and didn't arrive late. Do you really need to speak to me like this?" The receptionist finally seemed to notice the weight in Snoop's voice, but still hesitated, unsure how to respond. Just then, another guest entered. A group of young men dressed in expensive clothes, their presence immediately catching the receptionist's attention. The receptionist swiftly greeted them, treated them with a smile, and immediately handed them a room key. Snoop observed this exchange carefully, feeling the weight of the injustice settle in. This wasn't just an individual slight against him. This was the reality that many black people had to endure. Receptionist: "Of course, sir. Let me arrange a room for you right away." Snoop Dogg stood there, watching the scene unfold before him. His anger was building, but he maintained his calm. The sound of the rain against the windows did little to ease the growing tension inside him. Unfortunately, these types of hurdles were not rare experiences for black men. But Snoop knew that in this moment, he wasn't just representing himself, he was representing a much larger community. Fame had its advantages, yes, but he couldn't ignore the deeper issue at play. Every glance of discrimination was a reflection of a much larger problem within society. He stood there for a moment, silently reflecting on what had just happened. What should he do? Should he give in to his frustration and walk away? Or should he stand firm and set an example for others? The doubt faded away as his decision became clear. If he was going to spend the night here, it wasn't just for himself. He had an opportunity to make a statement, not just for himself, but for every person who had been turned away or discriminated against. This night wasn't going to be a forgotten inconvenience. It was going to be a symbol of change. The rain outside grew heavier, almost as if the universe was giving him the strength to make a decision. After a moment of silence, he pulled out his phone and contacted his team. He explained that owning the hotel wasn't simply about real estate, it was an opportunity to create lasting social change. Purchasing a hotel meant opening a new front in the battle against racism. He made the move to acquire the majority shares of the hotel, knowing this was about more than just a building. It was about making a powerful statement. Snoop wasn't merely buying property. He was making a statement about fairness, justice, and equality. The next morning, as Snoop entered the hotel, he knew things were going to be different. As the new owner of the hotel, he walked in with a quiet confidence that seemed to ripple throughout the building. The receptionist, Evan, stood there, visibly stunned as Snoop approached. There was an undeniable force behind Snoop's presence. He wasn't just a property owner now, he was a force for social change. Evan's shock was palpable, and he couldn't seem to find words to speak. But Snoop, as calm as ever, spoke with authority. "Snoop Dogg, this hotel is mine now. What happened last night gave me the opportunity to make sure that every guest here is treated equally. You'll see the difference now." Evan's face drained of color. What Snoop had said didn't just affect the future of the hotel. It addressed its history of mistakes and injustices. This wasn't simply a business transaction, it was the resolution to a problem that had been ignored for far too long. Snoop Dogg had not just bought a hotel, he had turned it into a symbol of equality, justice, and inclusivity. And this transformation wasn't just going to affect the hotel, it would reverberate throughout the industry and beyond. A week later, Snoop Dogg attended his first official meeting at the hotel. He spoke to the staff, the guests, and the management team. He told them that from this day forward, the hotel would represent justice and equality. Every employee would have a role in this new system, and every guest would be treated with respect. The hotel would no longer be just a business. It would be an example for society to follow. The first changes began immediately. The physical renovations were just the beginning. Intensive training programs were implemented for all staff members. Workshops focused on gender equality, anti-racism training, and empathy were held. These programs weren't just for hotel employees, they marked the start of a broader social movement. The staff members began to understand that they were part of something much larger than just the hotel. They were shaping the future of society. Snoop Dogg's move to purchase the hotel wasn't just about real estate. It was a bold step toward changing the world. This journey wasn't just about one building. It affected the entire community. The victory he won in the battle against racism became a message that would echo through the years, inspiring future generations. That moment of injustice didn't just alter Snoop Dogg's life. It ignited a movement for social change. Everything began with that one unfair incident. Snoop Dogg's determination didn't just change his life, it changed the structure of an entire community. By standing against racism, he not only paved a better path for himself, but also for everyone who would follow in his footsteps. Snoop Dogg didn't just buy a hotel, he transformed it into a beacon of equality. This wave of change would spread beyond the hotel, leaving a lasting mark on the world.